Welcome back to Pathways in Pediatrics, the official podcast of the European Academy of Pediatric Societies, EAPS.
In our last episode, we got into managing the child with fever, which is, always a huge topic for practitioners.
A huge topic. And today, we're shifting to what was maybe the most talked about, most forward-looking topic at the Congress, technology's role in our future.
Exactly. We're going to explore the plenary presentation, how AI will revolutionize perinatal care.
That session really had a buzz around it. It felt like we were getting a genuine glimpse into the next decade of practice.
And the stage was set by Julien Pender, just so everyone's clear. He's the co-founder and CEO of Bloom Life.
Right. That's the maternal and prenatal health startup based in San Francisco, California.
And his analysis was just fascinating. He didn't just talk about the idea of AI.
No, he was very concrete. He laid out how big data, advanced monitoring, and machine learning are already coming together to create real tools that can help mothers and children.
So let's start where he started, which was with just the sheer scale of this change, the speed. AI isn't some niche academic thing anymore.
Not at all. It's everywhere. I thought his opening examples were so effective because they were so varied. I mean, we're talking AI-generated music, films.
Self-driving taxis in major U.S. cities.
Right. And even things you'd never think of, like optimizing the fermentation process for Belgian beer.
It's that disruption of everything. But the one number, the metric that should really get the attention of the medical community was about adoption speed.
That's the one that really stuck with me. The race to 1 million users. We think of the iPhone as this runaway success, right?
It's a phenomenon.
And it took 74 days to hit that mark. Netflix took 3.5 years.
And ChatGPT...
5 days.
5. It's a different kind of technological shift. It's not a slow rollout that gives us, decades to debate and form committees.
It's happening right now. And it's not just impacting patient care, but our own work. How we as clinicians and researchers find information, get guidance.
And how we write. I mean, the use of AI in drafting research papers is already a huge and pretty controversial topic.
Which brings us to a really serious point he made. A warning, really.
Yes. If this technology is meant to augment our skills, we have to be so careful it doesn't accidentally erode them.
He brought up that early study from the MIT Media Lab.
That was thought-provoking. They looked at brain activity during writing tasks.
And they found that when people relied on large language models, there was a measurable drop in connective brain activity.
A drop compared to just using a simple search engine or, writing completely unaided.
And that's genuinely alarming for our field. Our entire job is about connecting disparate facts, seeing patterns, critical thinking.
Absolutely. If the tool that's meant to help us actually weakens that muscle, that's a risk we just cannot take. The machine has to be a supplement, not a substitute for our own thinking.
Okay, so with that very important caution in mind, let's turn to how this is actually being applied in healthcare. The good news, and Pender's was very clear on this.
The robots are not coming for our jobs.
No. AI is not going to replace doctors.
The consensus is that AI is an augmenter. It's a tool that can handle the massive beta loads and find patterns, which then frees up the clinician to do the human part.
The decision-making, the empathy, the complex problem-solving. It basically enhances our ability to monitor and provide really personalized care.
And the impact is expected to be across the board, speeding up drug discovery, improving hospital logistics.
But the first big proven wins are actually a bit less glamorous. They're in reducing the administrative load.
Which is a huge driver of burnout. We all know that. The endless documentation.
Exactly. And we're already seeing a lot of success with AI-powered transcription with these new integrated digital workspaces for clinicians.
Right, and he showed the data. A study demonstrated that using these tools led to a direct, measurable decrease in the time spent on documentation.
And here's the crucial part. That time saved wasn't lost. It was converted directly into more face-to-face time with patients.
Which is a win for everyone. A massive win.
But the ambition goes way beyond just making paperwork easier. Let's talk about that big predictive modeling study he mentioned. The one from Nature.
Oh, that was incredible. A really visionary piece of work. They used biobank data from, over 2 million people in the UK and Denmark?
Yes, and they applied a modified version of GPT-2, a language model.
And what was so clever was how they treated a person's life. Instead of having the AI predict the next word in a sentence,
they had it predict the next life event. They turned life events, births, diseases, diagnoses, into a sequence, like words.
A life sentence, as you put it. And by training the model on millions of these life stories, they taught it to predict the risk of over 1,000 diseases 20 years into the future.
And the accuracy, I think it was around 17 or 18%.
Yeah.
Now, that might sound low at first.
But it was significantly better than the baseline. And you have to think about the clinical use. It's not for diagnosis.
No, it's for screening. If you can identify the 18% of people most likely to develop a serious condition in 2 decades,
you can target them with intensive monitoring and preventative care long before they'd ever show symptoms. It's a total paradigm shift.
So let's bring this into our world, perinatal care. Penders was honest that this specific field is still pretty new. The research really only started ramping up around 2018, 2019.
But the early results are just so compelling, especially in high-stakes situations like predicting preterm birth,
which is still a leading cause of neonatal morbidity and mortality. He highlighted machine learning models using really standard clinical data.
Things like C-reactive protein, hematocrit, BMI, things we already collect.
Exactly. And with just that data, some models are predicting preterm delivery with over 80% accuracy.
So just think about how clinically actionable that is. An 80% risk score lets you intervene earlier, increase surveillance, plan for delivery at a specialized center. It changes everything.
We're seeing similar things with preeclampsia. Early models are getting an area under the curve, an AUC of around 0.9.
Which, for anyone not familiar, an AUC of 1.0 is a perfect test. So 0.9 is, well, it's excellent. It means the model is already fantastic at telling high-risk and low-risk patients apart.
And for pediatrics, he mentioned a very new study from JAMA Paediatrics on sepsis.
A huge time-critical killer. That study used EHR data and was able to predict sepsis risk with 90% sensitivity within 48 hours of a child's admission.
That is an immediate life-saving tool for any emergency department.
Beyond just crunching numbers, AI is also improving the data we get in the first place, especially in imaging. It started with, cleaning up noise and x-rays and ultrasounds.
Making them easier for us to read. But the real breakthrough, and this is where his own work comes in, is from collecting continuous long-term physiological data.
Right. This is the work his team at Bloom Life is focused on. He said the real bottleneck they found wasn't the algorithm. It was the data itself.
So they built their own connected devices to gather clean, standardized maternal data outside the clinic.
Over 1 million hours of it. And with that purpose-built data set, they can build models to detect fetal movement, predict labor onset, and crucially, predict preterm birth, all remotely.
And that ability to monitor patients remotely is what connects directly to what might be AI's greatest promise, improving equity.
Especially in low and middle income countries where specialists are rare and distance is a huge barrier to care.
He gave some great examples like AI-enabled ultrasound devices being used in clinics in Africa. They might not replace a subspecialist, but they provide a level of care that simply didn't exist before.
And programs like the Safe Nest Initiative, which helps midwives in remote settings, use basic tools, like a blood pressure cuff, to feed data into an AI that can flag high-risk cases for intervention. It's incredible.
During the Q&A at the Congress, the audience really honed in on the big challenge that underpins all of this.
Data quality. It always comes back to the data.
It does.
Yeah.
Penders was very direct about this. He pointed out that most of the current studies are using retrospective EHR data.
Electronic health record data. And he basically called it noise. Because it's not collected for research, it's collected for billing and daily notes. It's messy.
It's inconsistent. And that limits how well these models work in the real world.
That's the key takeaway, I think. The future of reliable AI in medicine depends on us moving beyond that noisy data and investing in clean, systematic, purpose-built data collection.
Garbage in, garbage out.
Yeah.
And that leads to the other critical issue. Bias.
A huge one. If our models are trained on data that comes mostly from, say, wealthy Western populations, they're not going to work well for everyone else.
Worse, they could actually amplify existing health disparities.
Yeah.
Which is the last thing we want in maternal and pediatric care.
The data has to be equitable. And this is an area where, fortunately, Europe is really trying to lead the way.
With the European health data space, trying to create a shared, high-quality data set for AI training across the continent.
Yeah.
That's a huge step.
That, combined with the new AI Act for regulation, creates a pathway for doing this responsibly. But it requires everyone working together, academics, industry, and regulators.
It's clear this isn't just a fad. It's a fundamental shift. And Julien Penders left everyone with a very powerful final thought.
A really potent summary that I think perfectly frames the challenge for every clinician listening today.
It's something we all need to be thinking about, he said. AI will not replace doctors, but doctors using AI may very well replace those who do not.
A powerful call to action. Well, thank you for joining us for this analysis of a really fascinating plenary session.
We wish you well. And just a reminder, if you were registered for the EAPS Congress, you can still log into the virtual platform and watch all the recorded sessions, including this one.
And if you missed the Congress entirely, it's not too late. You can still register for online-only attendance and catch up on all the incredible knowledge that was shared. We hope you'll join us next time on Pathways in Pediatrics.